Hi everyone, I'm Jodi. Welcome to my living room. I'm back in Illinois. Last week I was in Colorado. There were mountains beside me. I was practicing by hot springs. It was really quite beautiful, but I'm back in Illinois. Hopefully we'll be back in the museum. So we'll pick a new piece of art to practice in front of. But for now it's just my home. So welcome. We will start seated. I recommend just having a couple blocks and a blanket today besides your mat. You can always have more if you want an eye pillow for your shavasana, or if you want a bolster, or even just a firm pillow from your couch for your shavasana. That can work too. So just making your way through seated. I like to sit on the blanket. I like to sit on this folded, clean edge. That way the pelvis tilts forward and the legs ground a little bit easier, especially if the hips are really tight. Just giving yourself that level of support. And so from here, and just tilt a little forward and back on the pelvis, just noticing that pelvic movement or maybe even pelvic restriction, depending on how you feel today, but creating a little bit of space there, a bit of awareness as well. You can start to circle a little bit. I think from all of my travels and just a bit of a strange massage that I got in Colorado, my low back is definitely not happy with me. Maybe it's the weather as well. Circle in the opposite direction. But as we know, these things happen. The body reacts. Maybe the food that we're eating, the stress that we're under, all makes an impact on the body. So finding a level pelvis, grow the spine tall. Do take some rolls for your shoulders up, back, and down, just to sense the shoulders. Sense any tension there. One more time. Finding that open heart. Shoulders relax. The hands can rest on thighs or knees. The palms can be down or up. It just depends on how you feel, how it makes you feel. These mudras, these hand positions. Closing the eyes and just a moment to check in. Checking in with the breath. Checking in with the body. Sensing how you feel in this moment. Notice if there's anything that needs to be heard. And softening, relaxing into anything that comes up for you. Creating that safe space for yourself to explore. Maybe forming an intention for this practice. So just asking yourself what you want to receive from this next hour. Once you have something in mind, you can just bring your palms together, sealing that within, bowing the head towards the heart. And keeping the head bowed as you relax the hands back to thighs or knees. With the head heavy, chin centered over the chest, you can start to sway the head gently from side to side. And starting to draw the head over to the left, reaching the right fingers down. Notice how that relaxes the right shoulder away from the right ear. And keeping that engagement, reaching the fingers down as you start to rock the head forward and back. Just moving mindfully, slowly. And relaxing in the face, the jaw, the lips, the tongue. And finding stillness, you can start to rotate the head, gazing down, chin more towards the collarbone. And from here, just starting to make slow circles with the nose. So we're creating range of motion in the neck, creating space. And circling in the opposite direction. Eventually finding a place of stillness. Finding your sweet spot, just a few breaths there, creating more opening, more awareness as you breathe. One more breath. As you heavy the head, chin centered over the chest, hand resting back on the thigh or the knee, just starting to rock back on the pelvis, more towards the tailbone. Tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone, exhale. As you inhale, drawing the heart forward, squeeze the shoulder blades, lift the gaze, lift the chin. Exhale, finding that roundedness, heaviness of the head. Deep inhalation, finding that expansion. And then from here, just a nice long neutral spine as you relax the head heavy, chin centered over the chest once again. And just starting to rock the head from side to side. Take your time. And relaxing the head over to the right. Reach the left fingers down. And breathe. From here, once again, you can rock the head forward and back. Gentle movements. Just opening the body over time. Finding stillness, finding a tall spine, rotating the head down, chin towards the collarbone, breathing. You can start to circle. Think about tracing circles with the nose, maybe small at first. And as the body opens, the circles can get bigger. Starting to circle in the opposite direction. And finding a moment to be present with this stretch in any position that you found that needs more attention. One more breath. And take your time, heavy the head, chin centered over the chest, the hand back to the thigh or the knee. And from here, just swaying the head from side to side, seeing what's open for you. Meeting back through center. Starting to lift the gaze, lift the chin, opening up the throat. In front of the neck, and breathe. One more inhalation. And as you exhale, just bringing the neck back to neutral, gazing forward, chin parallel to the earth. Taking a roll through the shoulders, up, back, and down. Plant the palms alongside the hips. Start to lengthen out through the legs. And point through the toes or flex through the feet. And as you press into the earth, just arch the spine, lift the gaze, inhale. And as you exhale, starting to tuck the tailbone around the spine, tucking the chin in towards the chest. Inhaling, finding that arching of the spine, reaching to the heart. And then exhale, rounding. And one more time. Inhaling and then finishing that exhalation. Come back to a neutral spine. You can bend the knees. And if you're on any blanket, you can just shift on to the mat. Palms still alongside the hips, knees bent, feet can be wide. Just a little bit of a rock from side to side. Just moving into the pelvis a little bit, massaging into the hips. Starting to increase the movements over time. Never forcing, just see where the body's at for right now. One more time, from side to side. And coming back through your center, making sure there's plenty of room back behind you on the mat. Starting to engage the core, reach the arms forward, rolling down onto the back. The core is active the entire way. Arriving flat on the back, an opportunity to stretch long through the body. You can lengthen legs, lengthen arms, spread fingers, spreading toes. And breathe in through the nose and then releasing out through the mouth. And one more breath, inhaling. And exhale. Finding that release. So a little bit of reclined stretching, side body stretching. So you can just start to drape the right ankle on top of the left, taking hold of the right wrist with the left hand. Start to pivot the ends of the body to the left corners of the mat. And just breathing into the right side body. Maybe feeling that in the outer right hip. Maybe in the right shoulder. Breathing deeply. Taking one more breath. And then very slowly releasing out of this, just finding your midline. Finding your reset, tall spine, level pelvis, level shoulders. You're gonna roll through ankles, maybe roll through wrist joints, flexing and pointing through feet, anything that feels good. And then just coming to the other side. So you're draping that left ankle on top of the right, taking hold of the left wrist with the right hand, pivoting the ends of the body to that right corner of the mat. You can soften through the knees. Head is heavy, letting that left shoulder relax. Just breathe. Maybe a deeper breath. One more breath. Taking your time and slowly releasing back out, finding length. You can stretch the arms out, legs wide, arms a little wider, like a starfish. Spreading fingers, spreading toes, full body stretch here, breathing here. And then just relax the arms into goalpost arms or cactus arms with a bend in the elbows. Starting to bend one knee, then the other. Let the feet stay wide as you draw the knees together. Let them rest against one another. And just start to windshield wiper the legs here from side to side. Very different sensation, different orientation of the body. As you create that movement from side to side, slowly and mindfully. Take your time. One more time, from side to side. And then, as you do arrive back through center, let the inner knees just rest against one another. Soften the belly, maybe even hands to the belly, as you take a deep belly breath. Staying relaxed in the shoulders, heel to toe the feet closer together, knees out to the sides, and bring the soles of the feet together. You can always tuck blocks underneath the knees, just for a little bit more support. Maybe arms floating up overhead, taking hold of either elbow. 3 deep breaths here, breathing into the pelvis. As if every inhalation is water and you're filling the pelvis with water each time you inhale. And every time you exhale, it's like you're pouring that water out. Letting the head be heavy. One more breath. Taking your time, you can start to relax the arms back down alongside the body. And just starting to rock the head from side to side a little bit. And that gravity reduced range of motion for the neck. A little self-massage the back of the skull. And from here, aligning back through center, and start to relax the right ear towards the right shoulder. You can reach up with the right hand for the left side of the skull. Think about drawing the head towards that right shoulder without forcing. One more breath. Letting the head relax back through center, the arms relax back down. You can retuck the shoulders away from the ears, just a little bit of a rock of the head from side to side. And then back through center, letting the left ear release down towards the left shoulder, no intention of touching. Maybe the right arm reaches down and away. Creating that space on the right side as you float that left arm up. Fingers just above the right ear, thinking about drawing the head away from the right shoulder. And breathe. One more breath. Just relax the left arm down. Just relaxing the shoulders away from ears. And start to move blocks out of the way if you used them. Just off to the side. Starting to engage the pelvic floor, engage the glutes, press the soles of the feet together, and then the pinky toe edges of the feet into the earth. See if you can lift the hips up. At the same time, thinking about driving the knees towards the ground. So engage the buttocks. Breathe. One more inhalation with that engagement. And as you exhale, just simply relax the hips back down, relax the body, soften. Rest for a moment. And with that same level of engagement, starting to lift the hips away from the earth. Even if you still feel contact with the earth, the energy is up. Engagement is in the pelvic floor, and the glutes drive the knees apart, as if they could touch the ground alongside the hips. One more inhalation, and then as you exhale, lower the hips back down. And then the hands can bring the knees closer together. A little bit of encouragement there. And start to bend the knees deeply, drawing them in towards the chest. In just a moment here, you can circle the knees, clockwise or counterclockwise. Circling in the opposite direction. Back through center, a little bit of a rock from side to side with the knees. And then rocking and rolling to either side, you can curl into a fetal position. Continue to roll onto your child's pose. Take your time. Inner big toes touch. You can relax the forehead to the earth, or maybe to stacked hands or stacked fists. 3 deep breaths. Pressing the palms under the shoulders. Coming to seated on your shins. We'll use a few props here. It's nice to have a little bit of cushion under the knees. We're going to be doing some low lunging. So you can use a mat, you can use a blanket. If you've got a couple blocks, those are handy as well. So having the blocks at the high height towards the top of the mat, coming to standing on your shins. So from here, it's as if you're in your mountain pose. Hands to the hips. Engage the buttock muscles and press the hips forward. And just sense what's going on in those hip flexors, the psoas muscles. And breathe. And then finding balance on the right side. That right shin supporting you as you draw the left foot forward. And keeping that pressure of the hips pressing forward and maybe down. You can walk that left foot out a little bit more. Keep tucking the tailbone, keep engaging that right buttock muscle. Keep sinking the hips. It's almost like you're coming on top of that right thigh. And then just starting to back the hips up. You're coming on that left heel, flexing through the left toes. You can point and flex through that left foot. Maybe rolling the left ankle a little bit. And spread the left toe. Start to rebend the knee, replant the foot, walk the blocks forward. Stay with the hands on the blocks and sink the hips low. Keep engaging that right buttock muscle and breathe. One more breath. Backing the hips up once again. Use the blocks to support you, just a nice long leg. Even if the knee is soft or bent. Think about long through the spine as well. A few more breaths here. And then just rebending the knee, replant the foot. Coming away from the blocks, tall spine, hands to the hips, finding a little balance as you bring that left knee back underneath you for support. And just for a moment, blocks off to the side, come into a down dog, just evening out. Coming off the knees, releasing any pressure. You can pedal out through feet here, sway the hips, sway the head, anything that feels good. Then releasing knees to the earth, just a moment in your child's pose. So sinking hips to heels, forehead to the earth, finding your balasana, child's pose. One more breath. And then pressing back through standing on your shins. You can reset the blocks out in front of you. Tall spine. Press the hips forward, engage the glutes. Engaging the back body, open through the chest. And shifting the weight of the torso and the body to the left as you draw that right foot forward. Keep engaging that left buttock muscle. And again, just thinking about shifting hips forward and down with that left glute engaged. Breathing here. Make sure all the joints stay happy. They feel supported. One more breath. Starting to back the hips up. Again, you can find the blocks. You can lengthen out through that front leg. You can point and flex through the right foot. You can roll at the right ankle. Spread the toes. And then rebend the knee, replanting the foot. Stay with the hands to the blocks. And again, keeping the left buttock muscle engaged as you're thinking about just relaxing the top of the left thigh to the earth. And breathe. One more breath. Starting to walk the hips back in space. You can flex through the foot. Again, that knee can be soft. Finding a tall spine. Just one more breath. Starting to rebend the knee, replant the foot. Starting to come back through standing on both shins. So just drawing that right shin back underneath you as you are ready. And then from here, curl the toes under. You can release hands to the earth just so you can lift the knees. So we're in a squatted position. It can feel good to kind of sway the hips a little from side to side. Maybe sway the head a little from side to side. Bringing the backs of the hands to the earth. You can make gentle fists with the hands, curling the fingers in and extending the fingers out. And fingertips back to the earth. You can also use blocks. If you want to use them, you can draw them in. We're just coming into a forward fold. So feet can go wide, knees can be soft. And just hinging at the hips. You can sway the head, you can sway the torso. You don't have to use the blocks. Just a few breaths here. Just exploring this inversion. One more breath. And then strong through the foundation, the feet, the legs, the core. You can roll up through standing, taking your time to arrive. As you do, rolling through shoulders up, back, and down. And then just moving the blanket off to the side. You can have the blocks at the high height along the long edge of the mat. Step the feet out nice and wide. Toes can angle out, heels can angle in. Hands to the hips. Inhale. Exhale, hinging forward at hips to find the blocks with a tall spine. So just explore here with this long spine. Maybe you bend elbows. Keep the neck long and neutral. Maybe you lower the block slowly, incrementally. Just listening to the body, easing into this inversion. It's not just about the body, it's also about the nervous system. So making sure you feel very supported in your choices. Once you come to a gentle edge, just taking 3 deep breaths there. Then palms to the earth or to the blocks, whatever feels more supportive. But start to heel to toe the feet closer together, about hip distance apart, until you can safely bend your knees back into a squatted position. And from there, just make your way through seated. So just a mindful transition back to the ground. And again, we want plenty of room back behind us. Bending knees, planting feet. Arms out in front and start to curl down using core strength onto the back. Once you arrive, once again, arms can stretch long, lengthening through legs. Spread the fingers, spread the toes. And just checking in with the body, checking in with the breath. Floating the arms down alongside the body, bending one knee, and then bend the other. As you tuck the tailbone, lift the hips away from the earth. All about engaging the hamstrings, the backs of the thighs, engaging the glutes as you press the hips up. Lengthening through the spine. Breathing. One more inhalation with that engagement. And then exhale, tuck the tailbone, curl the spine as you ride the breath down. And keeping that pressure of the low back as you draw the knees in, extend the arms out, and start to come into a twist. So the legs go to the right, the gaze to the left. Sometimes I like to have a block in between my knees, maybe even a little support underneath the bottom thigh or shin. A little extra cushion. Let the body feel supported. One more breath. Take your time. You can draw the knees back through center and then over to the other side. So knees release over to the left. Gazing over the right shoulder. Just soften the body. Still finding ways to stay present. Stay with the breath. One more breath. And start to draw the knees back through center, hugging them in. Maybe a little rock from side to side, or coming into your happy baby. So you're going to reach for pinky toe edges of feet, the feet skyward, a deep bend in the knees. So your choice how you want to finish your practice. And then releasing the feet, let the legs go long, the feet wide, arms alongside the body, just creating space here. Keeping all of that spaciousness that you've developed throughout your practice. Finding alignment in the spine and the neck. As you close your eyes and simply rest. Begin to deepen your breath as you reawaken your body with movement, with fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. And open and close the mouth into a yawn as you draw your arms long overhead, full body stretch. Maybe a cleansing breath as you breathe in through the nose and then out through the mouth. And bending one knee, bend the other, let the feet plant. Slow and mindful in your movements. And roll to either side, curling into a fetal position with the head supported, knees bent, belly soft. And just making a conscious choice of what you want to take with you from this practice into your day. Maybe a new intention. just a deeper awareness of yourself, of your breath. And with closed eyes or soft gaze, take your time pressing back up to seated. Just finding a comfortable seat, tall spine and open heart. As you bring hands to the heart, acknowledging this practice and yourself with a grateful heart. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you feel good. And I will see you next week. My